Okay, good afternoon. In accordance with the Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment consider applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property and permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and also consent to survey property to create new lots. My name is Yim Chen. I will be chairing this afternoon's hearing, and I'd like to also introduce our panel members. On my right is Mr. Gary McCain and Mr. Peter Weed, and also on my left is Mr. Philip Goss. And our Deputy Secretary Treasurer today is Nicole Evenot. So I also would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anasazi, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamlined on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connected with the computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have options of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute all your devices until you call to speak. And those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled, and you will only be visible during your 5-minute speaking time. All other times, your video will be disabled, and you will be stated as attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee Adjustment will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. How to receive a decision of the committee? People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of committee must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLABs, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the TLAB or Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances, to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Housing, Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public body, such those terms were defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. And the hearing procedure is I will call each item in the order of the agenda. And then when you're making your submission, when an application is not contested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When a committee does not require presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into the committee for decision. and each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee, and I will comment when you're reaching your 5 minutes. And any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept material at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name, address, and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note, the committee may not entertain revisions to proposal at the hearing today. The committee might decide to defer the application if substantially revised so that the revised application is accurate and that is all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, will be invited to speak. Generally, we will call the people in this room first, and then we'll go through through the people online. And when the committee members will ask or may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all the speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only on those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and then the application will then be taken into the committee for decision. So at this the afternoon slot, I'd like to know whether there's any declaration of conflict of interest from staff and no. And also, I'd like to know whether there is a request for deferral or file to be closed.
Through you, Madam Chair, there are no deferrals for this afternoon's agenda. However, there are 3 files to be withdrawn.
Okay.
But before I get to that, I do have an announcement to read regarding notice.
Okay.
So recent regulatory changes under the Planning Act to modernize public notice requirements enable municipalities to provide alternative notice of public hearings for minor variance and consent applications. Many municipalities in the Greater Toronto Area and beyond has chosen to provide alternative forms of notice as an interim measure during the Canada Post labor disruption. The city has gone beyond what the regulations require. Some of the measures staff have completed include posting on the City of Toronto website, posting links to the agendas and application information on our web pages, posting on city planning social media channels, posting public hearing signs on the subject sites, publishing the agenda list in the Toronto Star newspaper. All of these measures were taken for this hearing today. So through you, Madam Chair, we do have 3 files that are requested to be withdrawn and closed in this afternoon's agenda as per the applicant's request. Mm-hmm. That is items 17A, B, and C.
Okay.
It's a consent with 2 associated minor variance applications as follows. Item 17A, municipal address of 225 Glenrose Avenue, consent file number B0050/25TEY. Item 17B, municipal address of 225 Glenrose Avenue, Part 2, minor variance file A0631/25TEY. And item 17C, municipal address of 225 Glenrose Avenue, Part 1, minor variance file A0632/25TEY. Mm-hmm. There are no registered speakers for this item beyond the agent or the applicant. We can hear from the applicant agent to explain briefly the reason for withdrawal of these applications. Okay. And then I will need a motion to withdraw and close these applications.
We still need a motion, okay.
Right, with no refund, given the notice of hearing was issued in accordance with the Committee of Adjustment refund policy.
Okay, thank you. So that's the only 3 files that could be...
Correct.
Okay, so let's have the agent then, please. Yeah.
Item 17.
Oh, hi, this is Katyayani Gardner. I'm the new owner of 225 Glenrose Avenue.
Yes.
to for applications because we don't want to sever the land anymore.
Okay.
And then we will come up with a new plan in the future. We don't need these changes made for now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right, that's the reason. And do we have a motion?
I'll move that we withdraw the file.
Okay, second, Mr. Goss, second. All in favor to for the withdrawal? Okay, it's all in favor, yeah. Okay, and we have then go back to item number 15. The 15 is 49 Ontario Street and 72 to 78 and 80 and 82, 86 and 94 Berkeley Street. This is to obtain consent to survey the property into 2 lots with proposed 46 and 50-story mixed-use development, and to create a new stratified easement or right-of-way, also to maintain existing easement right-of-way. The consent will facilitate the separation of the residential and non-residential components of the approved mixed-use development for ownership and business structuring purposes. The development contains a total of 1,226 residential dwellings, and also which 245 units will be affordable units, and is under the site-specific zoning bylaw 1299 2023, and we received a copy of survey, site plan, floor plan, elevation, copy of draft survey, and 20 photographs of tree, and cover letter from the agent, and also decisions affecting the property, tree inventory study, and site-specific zoning bylaw affecting the property. And we receive corresponding from Development Engineering Department, and also staff report from Community Planning, and also advisory report from Metrolinx. We receive two letters of concern. It seems from the same address, 120 Parliament Street. It's 2 letters of concern. Yes, and that's all we have received.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and 3 speakers in person of interest.
Of interest, and then they all want to speak.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah.
Ian, you're unmuted.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ian Veloso. I'm acting on behalf of the agent, DCC 49 Ontario.
We can't really hear you too well. Can you speak closer to your mic, or not too sure
no
what?
problem. Is that better?
Don't know yet. You can
Can you hear me now?
what?
Hello?
Okay. Speak closer to your mic. Maybe it will help.
No problem. How's that?
Oh, okay. Now, you give us your name and your address for the records, please. Yeah.
Yep, no problem. Hopefully you can hear me. My name's Ian Veloso, acting on behalf of the agent for 49 Ontario Street.
And what's your address?
Address is 134 Peter Street.
Okay. So you do have some people who would like to speak to this application. You have 5 minutes to give us a presentation, but if you want to have material to be brought up on the screen to begin with, we won't start the clock until everything's ready. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. I think the best plan is if you could please pull up the draft plan colored version. I think that's the easiest plan to work with. Yep. And this page right here, I think I could use it to explain everything, but.
Okay, good to go, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good to go. So thank you for having me. This application is to allow for the consent to sever the property, as you mentioned. The development consists of 3 buildings. It's 2 purpose-built rental apartment buildings with affordable housing and 1 non-residential office component. The proposed severance is to sever between the residential and non-residential components and to create the necessary easements to serve each parcel. This color plan, the colored strata plan that you see here, it identifies 3 major components. Components in blue represent the residential lands. The areas in orange represent the non-residential lands. And we've also shown on here an area in green, which shows the future proposed parkland to be conveyed to the city. We've reviewed the easements in detail with planning and development engineering staff. These easements are to secure the ingress, egress, and servicing through the residential lands for the benefit of the non-residential lands. And the way that we've noted that on here, just for more clarity, is in anywhere where it's not a solid color is somewhere where we've noted it to be one of those potential, one of those future easements, with the details of each easement provided as well as part of our application. Happy to run through them in detail if required, but I'll keep it at high level for now. I would also like to note for the committee today that the application before you is strictly a technical one relating to the severance and associated easements. The project itself is fully zoned, as you noted previously, and the final zoning bylaw was included as part of this application. And matters of height, land use, and design were comprehensively reviewed as part of the zoning application. And so today, again, is strictly to do with the technical severance nature of the application. Thank you.
Okay, we probably will hold our question to you until we hear the other speakers. Okay, yeah, let's have the next speaker.
First speaker is for 120 Parliament, Unit 1903. Unit 19. Oh, actually, yeah, Susan? Yeah, that's you.
I have a pretty loud voice, but I'll take it. Okay, yeah, so my name is Susan Bates. I live at 120 Parliament.
You're
want me
welcome
to
to
sit
sit down. Yeah, we can be more relaxed and you have. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Because
Am I up there now?
yeah, we're online. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so my name is Susan Bates, and I live at 120 Parliament Street, which is between Adelaide and Richmond. Okay, so we have just started tearing down the 49 Ontario Street, and was the plans that we looked at. It looks like there's going to be another condominium complex there. I think there's 2 towers that will be going up, and I believe they will be condos, public condos and rentals. Okay, so my question is, I've been there for about 3 years now. And during that 3 years' time, I have seen 3 projects within a 6-block radius that have been abandoned, have been stalled, and one turned into a great big dump, a whole block dump. Now my question is that these other 3 projects that have been stalled or not decided not to build up, is that this has left abandoned buildings. It's like a big dump, like I said, and it's just, people have lost the Shoppers Drug Mart, they have lost their favorite bar, which is very important in our neighborhood. So is that, why are we building another condo rental complex in the area when 3 have already been stalled or it's not going to be built, and is that it's a tremendous, it's not a very good sight walking down the street and seeing abandoned buildings and a big dump site. And we don't want to see, I don't want to see another block that's saying they're going to tear everything down, we're going to build something up, but nothing happens. And we have another dump. And this has really become a concern. And so that's my question to you, is that if you're going to be doing this, is there any guarantee at this point that it's going to be done? This is a project that has the money in place, has whatever needs to be put in place for it to be built.
Thank you. I can tell you that those questions the committee will not be able to answer you, except that maybe we will get the applicants to respond to certain development timing. That's on their project, not on other projects that is not related to him, to this representative. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Any questions? No, that's okay. Thank you. Yes, welcome, yes.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Anisha Latha. I live at 120 Parliament Street. I'm on the southwest corner of the building, so I literally see this block being built in front of me, or at least the demolition that's occurring right now at 49 Ontario Street.
Through the chair, sorry, to the speaker, if you could just state your unit number, I believe
Yes, 2404.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's
You're welcome.
different units than the
Yes.
speaker before. Thank you.
Yes, no worries.
Okay.
I have two major concerns when it comes down to the property that's being built. One, I do understand that there is going to be green space that's going to be built, which is great to see, not opposed to that. But the reality is that there's 1,200 units that are going to be built within these two sites, and that 580 square feet of land doesn't seem very large for the amount of residents that are going to be welcomed into the area. Corktown is home to families, seniors, new immigrants, and pet owners who rely on accessible outdoor space. Additional tree planting, wider sidewalks, especially down Adelaide, because currently it takes quite a bit of space for two people to walk down Adelaide Street on the south side. So to expand the sidewalks, maybe a green buffer along the sidewalks just to allow for additional green space in the area, if that could at all be considered, that would be fantastic. Again, I'm not opposed to the building at all, but I do live in the area, and I used to live near St. James Park, beautiful park. So I'm hoping that some greenery could kind of be considered as part of this as well. More greenery would be great, actually. Shall I move on to my next item?
Yeah, you have 5 minutes. You
Perfect.
still have about 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
My major concern, to be quite honest, is the height of the complex, so 50 and 46 stories. Originally, when the plan was submitted, I think it was supposed to be about 35 and maybe 37 stories, 39 stories, if I can recall. All the surrounding buildings in that area are 25 stories tall. I live at 120, it is 24 stories. Anything around Ontario Street is 25 stories or lower. So to have complexes now that are going to be 46 and 50 stories just seems far too large for the area. We need to appreciate our heritage sites. We need to respect our neighbors at the end of the day. I know for a fact that I'll be very much impacted by the shadows of this site. I do understand that there was a shadow exercise done, but I can say for truth that I get a lot of west exposure, and I know with a 50-story building coming in front of me that basically all the sunlight that comes into my unit past 4 p.m. will basically be blocked by these units. The reality also is that, this is supposed to be more of a historical area. So from my understanding, years ago, we used to have height restrictions around 30 stories. Now seeing 50 and 46 stories just seems really outside of what the area is used to. With Adelaide only being basically one lane at this point, it seems like we're just going to have an influx of people coming into the area that really the foundation, the infrastructure around the area doesn't seem to be able to support that many people coming into the area. And just to echo what Susan had said, there are a number of empty plots of land in the area that were also supposed to be a rental condo. that has now basically torn down a historical site. We have a facade of one historical building, and that's about it. It has been an empty plot for at least 5 years. We have Emblem that's being built on King Street East that tore down a whole block on King Street East, including amazing, places that the residents used to enjoy, like Betty's, Pacific Junction. There is a whole great, and nothing has happened there. So it is quite concerning that now we're getting to a point of including 46, 50 stories when it doesn't seem like anybody else is building anything in the area, and those have all kind of gone, as she had stated, kind of abandoned at this point. Just kind of in conclusion, I do urge that city planning and developers look to consider the long-term impacts on quality of life of the current residents who simply want to live safe, healthy, and in a well-designed neighborhood. Like I said, I do live right directly across from where the construction site is. The noise, the dust, there's asbestos in the air now, have all definitely impacted my ability to enjoy the residence. And I just moved in September, so it is disheartening that now my new home has turned into basically a construction site. And so I hope these are things that the committee will consider.
So thank you. So you just moved in September, this 2 months
I lived in
ago.
the area I've lived in the area for 10 years. I was on George Street, and I just moved 2 blocks east to Adelaide.
Because what it is, all this kind of development usually is a very long process. If you look at the site-specific zoning bylaw, it was already approved 2023,
Right.
which means that they started the process probably a few
When
years
none of those
before that.
residences existed in those areas.
So exactly. So what I'm trying to say is that they are not applying today, not applying any changes to their development, except that they're coming in here just for the sole purpose of serve the lot into different right-of-way or zoning bylaw. So we are not actually even
I understand. I just thought
consider any of the changes or development that is already gone. So I was just asking why you, when you move in, is probably the most of the public consultation. I'm so sure they will have community consultation before the site-specific zoning bylaw was passed. So you probably have missed a few years of that period of the development.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, no, I completely understand.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's the case, but just considering that probably none of these residents ever existed in the area while this was in process, I don't think many people would have known that this is the impact, and nor do I think people knew that it was going to be a 46 and 50-story building, because the original plans didn't call for 46 and 50 stories. There were less than 40 stories at the time that the application was submitted. The original renderings of the buildings were less than 40 stories.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, so, but the agent might be able to respond to some of your
Please,
concerns.
agent,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
build these big buildings in this area.
Okay.
It's horrible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Yes.
I'm Katie Broad, and I live at 120 Parliament Street. I do not live with those other 2 individuals, just to set that preference. So just based off of your comments, the hearings have already gone and they've taken place. So just right now, I did have a few questions, so I'm not sure if the agent can get back on this, but in terms of the environmental and wildlife impact as of right now, currently, I think, I don't know exactly which numbers are being demolished, but I believe 49 is being demolished as we speak. And I've noticed that there is wildlife surrounding that area, squirrels, pigeons, birds of all sorts living within the trees that are nearby, but as well as the rooftop of the buildings. Specifically, I saw a family of pigeons in a nest the other day in one of the buildings. And so my concern or question is, how is the team going to be handling, like, if it's going to be the relocation of these animals, or trying to make sure that there's some sort of like a habitat at the same time so that they're not exactly disrupted, and we kind of maintain kind of an ecosystem where we kind of live with the wildlife, but we don't disturb exactly their living space.
That's a good concern. Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah. Maybe the agent can give us some insight on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and one other question, sorry, was about the asbestos. We did see signs all around the building that said that there's a warning of asbestos. I didn't see anything about it in terms of like the planning or anything like that. So I was just kind of curious as in terms of what that would mean for us as neighbors, how that could affect us on the short and long term, and how that's going to be, I guess, handled from like a disposal standpoint, just to make sure that,
Yeah.
you know, it's handled in a way where
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, actually, I can comment a little bit on that. You can actually call 311 because the city has very strict requirement that when you're dealing with the removal of asbestos for anyone. So if you want, you probably they can direct you to speak to someone that they can maybe update you on the status of that, or something. The city has some kind of regulation, and they have to, they have to follow. Yeah, and you, including the wildlife, I guess the city may have some department will look after that.
Okay, I was just more concerned because like
Yeah.
when I'm actually watching it being demolished, like I can see that there are wildlife right then and there. So I don't
Yeah.
know exactly the response time 311 would have. Like
Yeah.
I
I
haven't,
don't know either, but I think maybe there's a better source of information than us, or maybe the agent can also have some insight or direct you to the right department to inquire this. Yeah,
okay,
all right.
that would be great. Thank you.
Any questions to this speaker? Okay, thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, that's all the speakers we have in person and none online, so I'll just unmute the agent.
Okay.
Ian, you're unmuted.
Hi there.
Yes, so you have a chance to maybe respond to the speakers' concerns, I guess, at the best you can. Yeah.
Yeah, not a problem. And thanks again for all of the comments. We understand this is a large project, and we're very familiar with city building and building buildings, and we know that housing is much needed supply, and we know that there are impacts of construction, I'll just say, but we are focused on doing it quickly, cleanly, and with the minimal impacts to the surrounding neighborhoods. And we've done this many times, and that's always our goal, and we have a good reputation for executing well.
Sorry, I think we are losing you. Can you speak a little bit slower or maybe closer to your mic?
Yep.
Yeah.
No problem. Is that better? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I'll try to knock off the questions as they came in, but I can't speak to other projects in the area, but I can tell you that this project is moving forward. Demolition on site has started. The project itself is part of the rental housing supply program with the City of Toronto. So it's very important between us and the City of Toronto that this project gets built quickly. And there are agreements in place with timelines that we need to complete these projects, and can't say anything more than we are starting, and we don't intend to finish until the project is done. The other questions with related to, height and programming, Madam Chair, as you mentioned, the zoning and approvals for this building were done a couple of years ago, where the zoning bylaw was finalized. So all decisions relating to the building height and massing and design elements and green space were approved as part of that application process. As it relates to the current construction on site, there are regular notices as required during construction for if there is hazardous waste such as asbestos. But again, as it was mentioned, Madam Chair, that the Buildings Department, Toronto Buildings Department, has strict rules for the management of hazardous materials. There was a plan in place as part of the building permit, the demolition permit approvals process, confirming that. There are safe and yes, EHS practices on site for the workers in contamination of those substances during demolition, and those notices are up there as a result of just general construction notice requirements.
Okay. All right. What about the wildlife removal? Do you have some sort of restrictions or requirement that you have to consider when you do it?
Yeah, I think so. Our demolition trades they'll always follow the city and provincial regulations as it relates to wildlife. I don't know how it specifically relates to pigeons, but we build in the city of Toronto. I think the construction trades have regular communication with the city and municipal agencies as required if those situations occur.
Yeah, and also, of course, this that you said that construction is all, demolition started, so there's a monitor of noise and vibration of the constructions, right? You have to monitor all that.
Yeah, that's right. When the major construction begins, it's mostly on below grade. The vibration monitoring will be taking place.
Okay, and also there's like a traffic sort of safety plan that you, for the neighborhood, that you have to follow through too, right? So,
Yes, absolutely there is, and that's something we're actively coordinating with the city on today.
yeah, all right, so okay, thank you very much. I think you still have 1 minute if you want to address the committee with any issues before our questions, yeah.
No, I'm happy to address questions now. Thank you.
Okay, I have my first question is that you said that it's a rental, they're going to be rental, but is it in conjunction with the city affordable housing? But then they have 245 units. So what are the rest of the units condos or what? Are they rental? Or?
It's purpose-built rental units.
They're all rentals.
100% rental, 20% affordable.
Yeah, I know the 245 is affordable. The rest are all rental units. These are.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. Okay, any questions?
What's the term of the affordability?
It's around 20 years.
And so the purpose for the easement is to separate the residential lands from the future commercial lands?
Yes, that's correct.
And the commercial is not going to be developed now, it's going to be developed in the future?
That's correct. It's a future phase.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also severing off what will eventually be conveyed as parkland?
Yeah, that's correct. It's out of efficiency. We prepared one reference plan that has all of the future conveyed.
So,
Okay, thanks.
yes, so the creating of the parkland will be at the very end of the development after the two towers are built, is that right? Or
Yeah, so the current requirement is to convey the lands prior to above grade permit issuance. However, the actual delivery of the land itself in a base park condition will be at the end of the construction.
yeah, so, okay, thank you. Yeah. Any other questions? Oh, yeah, we still have some question here. Please, go ahead.
So, just wondering if you have a construction plan in place. Otherwise, I'm thinking perhaps you should add a condition to the severance that there be a construction and a waste removal details be set out in some kind of plan.
Mm-hmm.
There is a construction management plan and it's currently with transportation and the work zone coordinator. We've been actively coordinating with them already on that plan.
Sorry, transportation and, I'm sorry, and what other department?
The work zone coordinator.
Work zone, okay.
Yeah,
And-
the
and
staff
is-
member coordinating the.
Yeah, did you submit those for the demolition permit? You're required to submit those, right? Those construction plans and.
The demolition plans were all provided as part of our permit applications, and those permits have been issued.
Yeah, if people want to know that, to get some information on that, they can actually call the Toronto building to view these plans, right? The construction plan. I think some neighbors in, may be able to see it if they are interested in knowing the overall planning or construction plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The Toronto Buildings Permit Portal has permit information included on the website.
Okay. Yeah, I just want the speakers, the other speakers to know if they want to get more information about construction phasing, time, and how the vehicle coming in and out, that is already submitted, that plan. in the building department, yeah. Okay. Now, we no more question. Now we are in committee, yeah. Okay. Okay.
I think the proposal makes sense. They're developing it as a separate residential rental two-tower development, which they're keeping just as one property. They want that to be separate from the commercial development that they'll do later, and separate from, and it'll have to be separate from the park when they convey it. So it all makes eminent sense, given that they've already got approvals. They already, it sounds like, even have a demolition permit. So it makes sense to give them these permissions, so I would move to approve it. Planning, I note that planning actually can, we have a report that shows that they have no concerns. So I would move to approve it, subject to the engineering conditions.
Okay, do we have a second? Yeah, Mr. Reed, second. Okay, with the engineering condition, all in favor to approve? All in favor is
And
approved.
through the
Yes.
chair, that's the standard consent conditions
the
and the
engineer-
And the additional ones in the
engineering.
report.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes. All right, so with conditions, this is approved, thank you, yeah. So we, on item 16 is 316338 DuPont Street, and this is to consent a request. Is to survey the property into 6 stratified lots, and is condo lands, office lands, studio lands, park lands, and retail lands, and also 2 retail lands, and also to create various easements and right-of-way within a mixed-use development, including 9-story commercial office and studio component on the east side, on the DuPont side, and a 13-story residential condo with commercial and retail on the ground, which will be the DuPont side, and with 3 levels of below-grade parking, and currently is under construction. All the part I will not read them. There's a lot of parts, and also we have received a survey, site plan, floor plan, elevations, and a draft survey, and 4 photographs of the property, and also email corresponding from the agent, planning rationale from the agent, and presentation material, and also tree inventory, tree protection plan. And we have also received community planning correspondence, and we have received staff report from, I believe it's development engineering. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent here in person and no registered speakers for this item.
Yeah, it seems that you do not have any opposition or anyone else want to speak to this file, but do we need a presentation from?
I might need a
Yeah,
bit of a presentation.
I like to too. So
To maybe address in particular some of the things raised by planning about why there are 6 lots instead of
Yeah.
3.
mhm.
And planning had also requested a
Yeah.
deferral, but I'm assuming you don't want a deferral, and maybe.
Yeah,
you
so we can
address that as
benefit from a
well.
presentation for sure, but please give us your name and address for record.
Alex Avenue, 3 Church Street, Suite 200.
Okay, yeah,
I do have a presentation if we can pull it up, please, and I'm happy to go through that.
yeah.
Correct. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, committee members. I'm Alex Avenue. I'm a senior associate and planner with Bellsfield's, an agent. We submitted a letter outlining how the application has regard for the criteria of Section 51, Sub 24 in the Planning Act. There's a staff report from engineering. We've reviewed that staff report. They have no objections, and we have no issues with the conditions. We also reviewed the report from planning, of course. We then had a meeting with planning yesterday afternoon, less than 24 hours ago, to discuss the comments that they have. I understand that they have recommended deferral, but also provided an alternate route, which was to approve the application subject to a range of conditions. We reviewed those conditions. We discussed those conditions with them. And they do address the comments that they have within the body of the report. So we have no issues with those conditions, as and from my understanding, planning is comfortable with this application proceeding, subject to those conditions being included, which we are absolutely fine with. Just, of course, there's no objection letters, and this is a pretty technical, stratified consent application. But again, given the recent conversations that we have with planning, the additional materials we provided, we understanding they're okay to proceed, subject to those conditions. And I'll just talk a little bit about the site and give a bit more context. We go to the next slide, please. So the site is on the north side of DuPont, just west of DuPont Station and Spadina. We'll go to the next slide, please. So the site is almost done construction. I took this photo a few months ago with a 13-story mixed-use building. In that building are retail, studio, office, residential uses, as well as 3 levels of underground parking. The construction is nearly done and occupancy is targeted for December of this year. The next slide, please. So on the left, you see the picture that was taken a few months ago, and on the right is the aerial. So there are 6 components to the building. So 2 at-grade retail spaces on the east and west portions of the ground floor along DuPont, which are proposed to be separate lots or components to the building. The next one is the office uses, and the office uses are in levels 2 to 9 on the east portion of the building, which is that right portion that's darker. And then there's the residential condominium that is on levels 2 to 13 on the west or left portion of the building, where you see those balconies, and that's again another lot. And then there are 3 levels of underground parking, which is proposed to be another lot. And there is a studio use at the rear portion of the building adjacent to the tracks, just on level 2, which is supposed to be or proposed to be the last lot. So what this consent will permit is a stratified severance in the property to these 6 separate lots corresponding to these different types of components of the building. And it's done because we're proposing it to facilitate the independent management of each component, allowing their separate operation, leasing, and sale. It will also provide the flexibility for individual financing arrangements and allow the owner to sell or retain lots independently. And that's part of the reason why it was different than the site plan application, where there was only 3 lots and there's now 6, because that was a business decision made by ownership in order to have more flexibility to operate these different lots. There are blanket easements proposed, and that's something as well that we kind of provided planning to ensure various easements and rights of way over the various parts. That's something that's very typical for these types of consents, just to ensure that all these parts can function. We'll go to the next slide, please. This is, overall, there are 99 parts. These are the parts associated with each of the 6 lots. As you can see, condo lands, the retail lands 1, retail lands 2, again, because there's 2 separate retail uses on the ground floor or retail areas, and then the office, and then parking, and then studio to make all 6. And then we'll go to the next slide, please. And this is just an example of one of the deliverables that we provided the city in order to show the different components or the different lots that we're proposing. This is just the ground floor. We do this for every single level in order to make it as easily digestible as we can to staff, so there's an understanding of what exactly we're doing and why, which I do think that we got there and we're all on the same page. So with that being said, I think the next slide, that's it. I did want to reiterate again that we discussed, we read the report, we understand that there is a path forward here subject to the conditions, we're fine with the conditions. We had the call yesterday with planning staff just to reiterate and to make sure that we're all on the same page. That was positive. Again, we're comfortable with moving forward, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the committee. Thank you.
That's a good presentation. That, yeah, clarify a lot of stuff. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Question.
Through you, Madam Chair. So the studio use, what is that?
Because, so there's a long planning history to this site. And if I can summarize it, to the rear is the tracks, right? And that's,
there needs to be a separation from residential.
Yeah, so rather than having residential there, it's defined in the bylaw as like a low intensity use. So there will not be folks living there. It's almost like kind of like, you can think of it more of like a non-residential pseudo retail space, but it's meant to have a low activity of patrons using that portion of the building.
And it's on the second floor mostly, you said?
Correct, yeah, only the second, because you couldn't tell in the photo, the way that the building is, there's the 13-story chunk that's facing DuPont, and then the rear, that studio space extends to the rear, that 2 stories extends to the rear, and then it comes up, and then that's when you have the 13-story. Like overall, if you saw a section of the building, it's quite slim. Like that 13-story portion there doesn't go that deep, because the rear wall of the 13 stories has to be 20 meters set back from the rail.
Yeah.
And in that 20-meter setback area on level 2 is where you have that studio space where you can have those more low intensity uses, of course, no residential.
Yeah, and so, but my question more is like, what type of studios is envisioned? And, if it's quasi-retail, why is it not with the retail? If it's quasi-office, why is it not with the office? What's the intention?
In terms of the exact use of that studio space, I'm not sure if that's been something that's been confirmed, but it is in the bylaw. There are specific uses that can and cannot be permitted within that area. So again, it is just from a higher level, low intensity use that's deemed appropriate for there. And it is different than those retail components, which is why we want it as a separate lot.
Does it have a separate entrance to the building?
Separate entrance. The studio space.
I know there's so many parcels, probably because there's so many easements through corridors and that sort of thing. But.
Yeah, just give me a moment to check the plan. Yeah, because it's on level 2, my understanding is that you'd still access it from DuPont and then go to level 2 from the interior of the building. It's not like there's a separate entrance to that area from, any other portion of the building.
Okay. And what about the condominium corporation? So it's going to be a condominium corporation for the residential, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Has it been declared?
No, so this is something that we discussed with planning staff as well. So the notice of decision, or I guess the conditions, like the condominium plan is approved. The owner has to go and fulfill the conditions and then register it and go through that process, which of course hasn't happened yet. It's not 100% built. One thing that's going to that we've discussed with planning staff that needs to happen is that condominium plan needs to be slightly updated to reflect the parts that I referenced, that are referenced here in this application. So some minor tweaks are needed. It hasn't been declared yet. We are able to, the intent would be after today, if this is approved, we would have the conditions. One of those conditions being that the draft condominium plan has to be updated to reflect the parts referenced in this reference plan. And again, planning staff are comfortable with that, and that's something that we will do and are required to do based on that condition, which is going to look more like a resubmission of the condominium plan. Staff will review it again, will ensure that all the same parts are reflected in the condominium plan as shown here, and everything is consistent.
Okay, no, that's very helpful. I just wanted to.
For sure, yeah, it is.
Conflict with the condominium plan.
Yeah.
If it had already been declared, it would be much more problematic than.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you can revise it to reflect this. And is it just the one condominium for the residential, or are any of the other components condominiumized?
No, it's just for the residential component.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any questions? Any more questions? Okay, please, go ahead. Mr. McKay.
So you're creating a separate lot for a parking use? Is that what's happening?
Correct.
And then are there easements, rights of way, sorts of things with other lots? And
That's correct.
Just wondering why you would create a separate lot for parking.
Yep, it's again, just to provide that flexibility for the owners to sell and arrange, make financial arrangements to manage those different lots. But they will all have easements for access, so they're all gonna, it's all gonna function as one lot.
Gonna have to, yes.
Yeah, and that's what we've been working with staff with, and that's why the public notice is so detailed in terms of the easements, because we've had to work out every single part and how it has an easement in favor of the other part, so we've worked that out. It's a lot of surveyor, work with the surveyor, but we've done that, and it will function as one lot with no issues.
All right, so any more questions, please? Okay, we have no more questions. Now we're in committee. Yeah. Oh, and, no,
Sure, I was a bit concerned by some of the things that planning staff had raised in their report, but I'm reasonably satisfied by the presentation and by the planning conditions personally. I don't know maybe how the other members feel.
yeah, it seems that they're working right away with engineering and to resolve some of those conditions. As long as we impose those conditions, I think.
Yeah, I don't see a reason to encumber or fiddle with the business case of the developer, so long as it all gets worked through to planning satisfaction in the end.
Yeah, okay, so. Philip?
Okay, sure, I'll put through the motion to approve the application, but subject to the planning conditions and to the engineering conditions.
To the engineering development. Okay.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
standard
And
conditions.
servants condition. So, Mr. McKay, you second? Okay, Gary. All in favor with those conditions? All in favor is approved. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next item is 18. Is 18 is ABC? Which is one file, right?
17 was withdrawn.
Yeah, it's 18, and yeah, it's also, okay. 18 is 154 Alpha Road. This is to survey the property into 2 undersized residential lots, and also to construct a new 2.5-story detached dwelling with an integral garage and a front covered porch with stairs and a rear ground floor deck on the north side with stairs. We have received a survey the minute of last public hearing and a copy of survey, site plan, floor plan elevations, and the drafts survey, and cover letter from the agent, and also the floor space index analysis from the agent. And we also have the water main hydraulic analysis from the agent, and email corresponding from community planning and staff report from development engineering and also urban forestry. We also have received support from 171 DUPONT Avenue and also number 7 Minin Road. And we have received more support from 130 Ava Road and 6 Mini Road, and also from 169 and 129 Camberwell Road. We oppositions, we received one on 165 and this Ava Road, and also 2 opposition with no addresses, and also 148 and 142 and 152 Ava Road in opposition. That's it.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent here in person and various speakers both online and in person.
Okay, how many more speakers online? Yeah,
Through you, Madam Chair, we have 2 speakers online
online, okay.
and 2 in person.
Oh, 2 in person, okay, so 4 people, okay, 4 speakers. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Just give it, that's your name and address.
Yes, Raymond Jemba from SGL Planning Design, 1547 Bloor Street. I'm the agent on the file.
Okay. And also, you do have some opposition, so
Yes.
we require to have a representation from you.
Yeah.
5 minutes, but we can bring up all the materials before we start the clock.
Yep.
Yeah, so you want to the staff
Yeah,
to
actually,
bring
can
up?
just bring up the, so Brian, I'm gonna do the presentation first, and then Brian will join me in the rebuttal
Okay.
for the second 5 minutes.
For sure.
But that will be after,
Yeah.
obviously
You-
after others.
You have a presentation?
No, I'm just going to be relying on documents we've already submitted.
Okay.
So if someone could pull up the site plan, and I'll start there.
Mm-hmm.
So good afternoon, Madam Chair and members.
Yes.
As you may recall, I was here earlier this year, and the application was deferred to better respond to 3 key areas. That was the relationship to the property to the east, 152 Ava, to address comments from staff, as well as questions related to the floor space index. So I'm pleased to share there's been a significant number of changes that have been based on those comments, based on working with staff, meeting with neighbors, and I'm pleased to share we significantly reduced the variances by half, nearly half by in both applications. So first I'm going to start with the relationship to the east for 152 Ava. As if you pull up the site plan for 154 Ava that you have on PDF page 2, with respect to the application, a number of substantial changes were made related to setback and heights. So to set the context, a quick reminder, the variances for setbacks are more technical in nature. This is because it's the lot orientation for a corner lot. So the side yard now functions as a rear yard. And this is similar to what's existing on the site. And the motive was to protect that tree to the south. We didn't want to have access that way. So the revised proposal actually increases the rear yard setback to 2.64 meters, which is more than double what we previously had at 1.24. This results in a separation of 3.56 meters between 154 and 152. Next, if you flip to the front elevation, which is PDF page 9, with respect to shadows, the proposal now meets the permitted height, which is a big change, and we've incorporated a pitched roof, which allows for more sun to pass through. The height's also reduced to 2.5 stories, where it was previously 3. You also see a garage component, which is a little step back and at a lower height, which again is intended to be more permeable to allow more light through. Next, I'm going to flip over to the rear elevation, which is PDF page 11. With respect to privacies, the number of windows has been reduced. As you can see, we now have 3 windows frosted. I'm sorry, is that the keep? Yeah, that's right. And then we also have clear story windows, which are like those on the left over there. Okay. So those are above height to provide sunlight but mitigate privacy concerns. And again, this was reduced previously 10, now to 7. So big change, and this isn't technically an OBC standard, but we did want to make an effort to respond in a sensitive manner. With respect to forestry, all trees are protected, no issues there. With respect to engineering construction services, Lithos Group, as you noted, was retained, which would work together with city planning staff, and we've agreed on a servicing strategy with the water main on West Overhill Road. We also submitted a water main hydraulic analysis. And although engineering construction services are recommending a deferral due to the review of Toronto's water review process and comments, we will come up with an acceptable solution with them. I do want to note that ECS did acknowledge this is a feasible solution, and they provided conditions which were comfortable, and I've had discussions with them for approval. Next, I'm going to flip over to the FSI analysis. If you could please bring that up. So this highlights that there's a number of committee of adjustment approvals with increased FSIs in this neighborhood. Generally, the 0.4 FSI is an outdated standard. If you're meeting the heights permitted in the zoning, the coverage, the setback permissions, you're coming in for an FSI variance. I do want to highlight there's two examples, which is the lighter purple of houses above 1.21 FSI on West Overhill and Camberwell Road. There's also a number of examples over 1 FSI, which is a darker purple. But however, we did acknowledge this, and we have come back with a reduced variance to 1.19, whereas previously 1.33, which is more in line with the context of the neighborhood. Next, I'm going to be, I'm hopefully in time, but I'm going to quickly discuss. We have, as you mentioned, 7 letters registered of support. I filed another 3 that came in late as part of my photo book evidence, which is at the back of the last couple pages. We also had one came in last night from Daniel Freeman at 167 Ava Road that I have physically. But I do want to acknowledge there were some letters of opposition, which I can get in during the rebuttal. But like the exterior stairs, if you're flipping to the site plan, that again for 154 Ava is just the curve, how you measure a curve to protect the tree. And if you flip up, the photo book, which is in the very late folder, I've been told. You flip to the first page, you'll see there are, multiplexes are popping up. And we really did work hard with city staff, and we do believe this is a more sensitive and more appropriate proposal. EHON, all these expanding housing options in the city. There's also other examples we have in here which extend with much greater side yard setbacks, greater building lengths. We believe this is a gentle form of intensification and appropriate for the site.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so do we have question here? Or so we hold our question to him, and then now or you? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will listen to the other speakers. We'll get back.
Through you, Madam Chair,
Yes.
the first speaker in opposition in person for address 128 West Overhill Road.
Okay. 120.
152.
Oh, 152. Okay. Hi, yes.
Okay. My name is Julie Gutkin, and I live at 152 Ava Road, next door and to the east of 154 Ava. I came here today to object to this application, which proposes severing this lot and building 2 oversized houses on 2 undersized lots. I was the neighbor who met with Stanley Grossman back in February of this year. I told him I strongly objected to the proposal to sever the lots. I suggested that I would be willing to compromise on one larger house in the location of the current house. Mr. Grossman said that he would draw up some proposals and follow up with me for feedback. I did not hear from him again. Now that I've reviewed the updated plans that have been filed, unfortunately, my concerns have been ignored, and I am here today to object to the current application. First of all, the variances are not minor. I have prepared a few slides to help show the enormity of the project and its impact on me and my neighbors. Slide 1 shows the scale of the variances. The lot is almost 40% smaller than allowable, and the houses are almost 200% larger than allowable. Those are huge houses on tiny lots. The houses are also much too close to the lot line. The houses are proposed to be 2.5 meters from my property, and the deck only 1.5 meters. By code, the houses should be 7.5 meters from my fence line. The size and location of these houses would unfortunately have a huge impact on my quality of life. I created the cartoon rendering on slide 2 to give you an idea of my rear yard now and what it would look like if these houses were constructed. Currently, I enjoy planting flowers, herbs, and vegetables on my deck during the warm months. I also enjoy sitting outside and reading in the sun. The renderings show the new houses will loom over my house and yard. I will lose my privacy, peace, and quiet, which to me is an unacceptable outcome. On top of that, the proposal includes injury or removal of half the trees on 154 Ava's property and injuring to the flowering apple tree on my property. I love this tree. I love the flowers. The tree is one of the reasons we bought the house. The loss of this tree would mean even less privacy for me, as shown in the rendering, and the loss of a beloved part of my home. And more practically, I'm concerned that the injury to this tree and another huge tree in front of the house may result in them falling on my house or car. The proposed new house is too large and too close to me would also create shadows on my property that will be a major hardship to me. I performed a shade study, and the model estimated that the new houses will cause me to lose 1,053 hours of sunlight a year, almost 3 hours a day on average. Slide 3. For example, slide 4 shows that in the spring on the vernal equinox, I currently have sunshine on my house, shown in the red box, through the afternoon and evening, and the house is fully shaded after 7 when the sun goes down. With the development, my property will be in complete shade by 4:21. That's a huge difference. It will definitely affect my collection of plants that rely on sun from my deck, my rear kitchens, and skylight, and I'm worried that the lack of sun will affect my mood and mental health. For our block and the community as a whole, this project is detrimental. I've walked the entire neighborhood and reviewed the zoning plans. There is not one other instance of a corner property that is severed to make 2 oversized houses on 2 undersized lots. The addition of the B house in the back location not only affects my backyard, but it affects entire blocks, backyards, views in open air. I am concerned for my block, and I'm also concerned for the precedent this would set to build up other green areas. I respect the city's long-term goals to increase affordable housing. I do not believe these plans would further that goal. These houses are not designed for middle-class families. They're luxury houses. On a personal note, a quick word about congestion and parking. Parking on Westover Hill is already very busy daily with parking for the school. The addition of these 2 large houses would add to the congestion, traffic, and difficulty parking in our neighborhood, especially with the school across the street. On a personal note, I'm a recent widow on a limited budget. When it comes time to sell my house, it will have to be at a devalued price. Who's going to want to buy a house with no privacy or sunlight in the front or backyard? I wouldn't. It's very upsetting to me that this plan could reach fruition. Since my husband died, my only joys in life are my children and my house. I've lost sleep, I'm losing weight, and I just don't understand why my happiness and financial security should be superseded by another man's monetary gain. So I'm asking the committee to see it in their hearts to deny this plan. And Stanley, I'm asking you as well, as a developer, a neighbor, and a mensch, please don't do this. I also believe that you should wait for approval for the water main and also for forestry. I believe that forestry did object to the plan. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Just wait. Any questions to this speaker? No? Okay. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Just start. My name?
Yes. Just hi. Welcome.
Hi.
Just
Welcome.
give us your
Thank you
name
for
yeah,
welcoming.
and
My
address.
name is
yeah.
Barbara Gans,
Mhm.
and I'm here today,
Yeah, your address too, please.
28 West Overhill Road.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I'm here today representing a neighborhood in shock. And why I say shock? Nobody in this neighborhood has been given any notice of this plan. The only reason I know about it is because I'm a friend of hers, and she told me about this. And when I heard about it, I was appalled. I said, nobody got any signs or anything. I'm not a planner, architect, or a lawyer. I'm just a member of the community that would be affected. As a member of this community, I only heard of it through our friendship. When I reached out to all of the other neighbors, no one had any idea of this proposal. One tiny sign on the front of a dilapidated old house. That's it. We all thought that sign said, house sold, new house being built. We can accept that. We all know that's the way of the future. New houses are happening. I canvassed everybody. No one had any idea. Not one neighbor had been notified. All of my neighbors were horrified. Most people thought they were knocking down one house, building one house. We all expected that house to be larger than what was there now. That's what it's all about, the gain of financial means. For 10 years, we have been living in a nightmare. This was the only street in Cedarvale that led out to Eglinton due to the Metrolinx debacle. We couldn't get into our houses. We had to wait till the traffic got out. We've lived through 10 years of a nightmare. This will impact the lives of many, not to mention that it's right across the school, right across the street from Cedarvale Public School. I fear for the children walking to and from their neighborhood schools. There is a crossing guard there now. Where will he even stand? Where will he allow the children to cross? They won't be able to cross on that side of the street. It will be too dangerous. Not to mention the pollution, the dust, the noise, while knocking down these houses will impact all of the surrounding residents, which once again have not been notified of this. There are no left-hand turns now off of our street to reach Eglinton. How will all the construction trucks exit our neighborhood? Will they go up our street and make illegal turns? There are only 2 streets that funnel out to Eglinton. On top of all of this, we will lose 4 to 5 parking spots. As it is now, when I have friends over, the night before I go out and move my car, put it on the street so that my driveway is clear so a friend can come to visit. Today, obviously, from the representatives sitting here to my right, this is a financial issue. This is a big issue for the builder. The amount of time that these professionals are spending here today reflects the financial gains for one person. It doesn't take into account the entire neighborhood. This is totally about financial gain for one person, while impacting the lives of hundreds. Yes, they have reduced the size and will have shaded windows, but these houses, if you look at the plans, still are oversized. I asked you one question today. Why can they not just build one house where one house was of legal size and not have to be a giant house in a beautiful neighborhood, ruining the value of everything? Thank you.
Thank you. Any question to the speaker? No? Thank you. All right. So we have 2 online, right? 2 speakers online.
Through you, Madam Chair, staff have attempted multiple times to reach the owner at 32 Westover Hill Road, but there has been no response.
No response.
So-
And that's another one you said?
Yes,
Okay.
we will be unmuting 160 Ava Road.
Okay.
Bernard, you've been unmuted.
Yes, it's Bernard Himes.
Yeah.
So I echo concerns that have been articulated, but I'd like to hear what the developer has to say in terms of mitigation, that there's a potential for a win-win for all parties. That's all.
Oh, so you want to have to hear the response? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right, so you're making another attempt to connect?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, I can make one more attempt.
Okay, one more. Oh, yeah.
Please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Through you, Madam Chair, that was the phone, no answer.
No answer, right?
Yeah.
So.
So that's all the speakers for this item.
That's all the speakers. So
Yes.
we have tried multiple times. So we're going to bring back the agent, and you can come up again, and.
Sorry, through you, Madam Chair, we're just clarifying the speakers one last time. So is there anyone else here that needs to speak on this item that is registered? Okay, and what is your address? 169 DuPont Avenue. Okay. Okay, so you can come up. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Stan Grossman. I live at 169 DuPont Avenue, and I appear before you today wearing 3 hats, and for the sake of transparency, I will define them. Firstly, I'm a lawyer in good standing with the Law Society of Ontario, having practiced in the area of real estate for over 51 years. Of over 57,000 lawyers in Ontario, I am one of about a small group who is certified by the Law Society as a specialist in real estate. Hat number 1 is that I appear today as legal counsel to the applicant. Hat number 2 is I am a principal of the applicant. Hat number 3, and most importantly, is that I and my wife are the owners of 169 DuPont Avenue, which is the property immediately abutting 154 Ava Road on the north.
Okay.
When 154 Ava Road became available in the market, I had no desire or intention to buy it. When first approached by the listing agent, I declined making an offer. However, based on my observation of what was happening in the real estate marketplace, and particularly in the Cedarville area, I ultimately felt compelled to buy the property. The overriding reason for that compelling decision was one word: control. I witnessed firsthand the repeated destruction or total retrofitting of older homes to be replaced by newer monster homes. Thus, I wanted to control what happened at 154 Ava Road in order to protect the integrity and value of our home. We raised our children and grandchildren there for the last 37 years. I did come to this committee to sever 10 feet of the northerly portion of the lands from 154 Ava and completed a lot addition to my property, something that I had wanted to do for 35 years. I then proceeded to carry out major enhancements of my rear yard and pool area. This is the focal point of my family's life. My 3 children and 5 grandchildren, all under the age of 8 years of age, spend our summer months in our backyard around our pool. I do not have a cottage. I do not want a cottage. I do not have a boat. I do not want a boat. I am not and have no desire to be a member of a private club. Our backyard is the heart and soul of our family's life in the summer, and therefore I needed to control what happens at 154 Ava Road. If you take a 5-minute drive or a 15-minute walk up and down our Cedarville area, especially DuPont Avenue, Ava Road, Strathern Road, Glen Cedar Road, Flanders Road, Winnett Avenue, and Camberwell Avenue, you will see the redevelopment that is constantly underway, tearing down old homes, building up new ones. I could not allow someone other than myself to have control over the destiny of 154 Ava Road. Therefore, I and my business partner bought the property in order to control the future development of same. I can honestly say that I fully respect and appreciate the concern expressed by Julie Gutkin, who has owned and lived in her home and on the adjacent property at 152 Ava Road for many years. She raised her family there and met with numerous life cycle events there. I hear the concerns that she has expressed to this committee, but I avert that no one else except me has equal or greater concerns of what happens at 154 Ava Road. There is one thing that cannot be ignored, and that is we live in a challenging and changing world. And the only thing that does not change is change itself. There are several alternatives that we could present to this committee for changing 154 Ava Road. The current house situated on that property has deteriorated and needs to be demolished and replaced. To help address these alternatives, I refer you to the photo book we submitted, which is located in the late folder that staff can bring up while I expand further. One alternative is a monster home, not something that I welcome, nor is it something that I suggest Julie Gutkin would be very pleased with, but that's what's happening throughout the area. Alternative number 2 is to build 2 semi-detached homes That would be very similar to the application submitted and approved by this committee at 227 Ava Road, which is a few hundred meters west of the subject property at the corner of Gwinnett Avenue. That consent constituted a massive single structure with 2 units and separate entrances, which consumes almost the entire lot with very little side yard or front yard setbacks and no parking whatsoever. The last alternative is a multiplex, which, as of right in the City of Toronto, I can apply and obtain a permit for, subject only to minor variances that would be presented to this committee. Based on consents granted by this committee regarding multiplexes in the area, such as the twin properties backing onto each other on Atlas Avenue and Winona Drive, north of Ava Road, and the 2 multiplexes at the northernmost limit of both sides of Camberwell Avenue, I suggest again that neither Julie Gutkin nor I would be very pleased with constructing a multiplex on 154 Ava Road. But I say that while wearing my hat as the adjacent property owner. When I don my hat as businessman and developer, I know that a multiplex is the most profitable use for this property. We are currently prepared to sacrifice the financial reward of that option, as evidenced by our presentation to this committee, subject applications for consent to sever the property into 2 lots and to enable us to erect 2 modest
your 5
size.
minutes is up, though. Yeah, make a quick summation.
I'm just finishing, Madam
Yeah.
Chair. Why would I sacrifice? It's the most reasonable, practical, and logical, gentle intensification for gentrification of this property. It creates spacing between the houses. It protects against invasion of privacy. And in our city, always you will have a degree of shading on any neighborhood given the built-up environment in the city. It does not overpower the physical urban form of the neighborhood. It satisfies and does not impede or compromise in any way pedestrian or traffic flow. And sightlines at proposed...
Thank you, yes, yes.
And sightlines and proposed
Yes, and
driveways...
thank
Through you, Madam Chair, we need
Yes.
to move on here. Thank
Yes.
you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
No, I have already mentioned twice, yes. And, yeah. No, it's fine, yes, we can move on then. Yeah.
So, sorry, I do have some questions for.
Can you come back? Sorry, we have questions, though.
Absolutely,
Yes,
sorry.
outside from your presentation, yeah, yeah.
So you've already, this addition to your own property of 10 feet, that's already gone through?
It has.
Done a separate consent and addition process to
Correct.
take that? Okay. I'm glad that you mentioned that the property other than yours that will be most impacted is that of the resident that we heard from today at 152, because there's no doubt that they will be impacted by this proposal. One of the concerns she brought up is this apple tree. So I did read through your arborist report. There are some recommendations on how to construct in a minimally invasive way, but it also does comment on the condition of the tree not being ideal, which to a certain extent is concerning because it might show a lack of concern for that tree. What's your intention in terms of construction process and how hands-on will you be in terms of enforcing the arborist report recommendations if this does go through?
The arborist report recommendation was to take the tree down, but when I spoke to Julie, she had a close affinity to that tree, and we will protect that tree as we have committed to the urban forestry.
Okay, so your intention is to follow the recommendations in the report?
Absolutely.
Can I, sorry,
Yeah,
Philip,
go ahead.
I'd like to interrupt a little bit because I think that this question should direct to the agent, the applicant.
Well, he is the applicant. So partway through his presentation, it was presented as though he were a concerned neighbor, but he is the applicant.
So I understand that, but that's the confusion. He said that he's wearing 3 hats, so I'm not really too sure. So because we started the presentation with the agent and the applicant earlier, I think that maybe he's finished his presentation and maybe we should just focus on just the agent representative to answer all the planning issues. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, maybe it is better to have
Otherwise, you will be
all
two people. Yeah.
3 of them, though, because it does seem as though he is the the applicant.
Madam Chair, we're all prepared to respond to any questions.
No, I
that you and
understand
the
that, but
committee
then
have.
I was just confused whether then the applicant will come back here for the rebuttal. I want to just focus on the rebuttal, that all the questions will be dealt with during the rebuttal, rather than different people speaking at different areas, right? Okay, yeah, I understand, yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Because I just try to run it just as what we
Yeah.
normally do, and
Yeah.
then let's not confuse.
Thank you
Yeah.
for catching that.
Yeah.
So I will take the 5 minutes, and I will respond to the concerns that have been raised.
Yeah.
And I thank you, the other speakers.
Mhm.
So obviously, shadow is a concern, and we understand that.
Mhm.
As I mentioned throughout, we've made a significant amount of changes.
Mhm.
I do want to flag that a shadow study is typically something done for a mid-rise, high-rise,
Mhm.
a very technical document,
Mhm.
very prescriptive terms of reference, utilizing the CAD files. These are things that I do kind of question the
Mhm.
accuracies of it.
Mhm.
Our architect actually did flag inaccuracies related to the building placement,
Mhm.
and I don't see a scale and height shown. But that being said, if you actually do pull up the Jay Goodkin's letter, and you look at the March scenario, there's actually a lot of shadow already casted in this backyard with the existing old growth trees, the existing built form, and there isn't actually, if you zoom in on this down there isn't actually a big substantial change, and that's in the letter she submitted. Also, I do want to flag, if you just flip to our survey that's registered, this is a 35-meter lot by 13 meters. This can comfortably accommodate a 5-plex by 19 meters, and then a garage with an ADU on top. And that can be accommodated with very little variances. But as I mentioned, and I think that would have a much more stronger impact than what is being proposed today. And we are really trying to build a built form that does soften and make it more permeable, address concerns of safety, not safety, but address concerns of shadowing and privacy. Again, the rendering, our architect, we did look it over. There are issues of inaccuracies based on where's the average grade being there, what's the scale. So I just want to flag that. Now, safety was brought up, and I think the important thing to note that the driveways are proposed without impeding any pedestrian traffic. They meet sight lines. This has been reviewed by transportation staff. No concerns there. No trees are being cut down. We have a positive staff report from forestry. We have worked with forestry, and I think there might be confusion because last time we were going to injure and remove a tree. No trees are being removed. We have standard conditions. The applicant and agent, the owner, will abide by the city's bylaws. And I do want to flag, we're also actually meeting all the green space requirements. There's no variances on softer on landscaping and soft landscaping requirements. My last point I'm going to just touch on is lot reduction. I did speak to this previously back in January, and it's out on my planning opinion letter. This is not a perfect grid neighborhood. We have some, because of the ravine system, we have irregularity lots. There's plenty of lots sub the minimum lot standards. And this is a corner lot, and even today, if the exact house was rebuilt and we took down all the walls, we'd be coming in for variances because you can't put a house that way on a corner lot. This is just the issues with corner lots and how we treat them. When you have these broad standards that are built across the city, they don't recognize the uniqueness of corner lots, and usually they are oriented to the flanked street. Brian, do you have anything that you wanted to touch on?
So the trees?
I already mentioned that.
Yeah. I'm okay at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is our rebuttal, and if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Oh, yeah. You have I just want to maybe, I don't know whether it's a question, maybe also a comment. From the last deferral hearing, obviously I can see that the lot analysis or study, it seems to be like a major issue because it's unusual in this area. But do I understand you just explained to us that because in the whole area there's not really any real standardized lot configuration, maybe you can call that, and so that's why I justify that what you propose is still fit into the context. Is that what you?
Yes, exactly, because you do have curved streets, you've got the natural features. There's a lot more irregular lots and square lots that are actually present in the neighborhood.
The other question is that you are a corner lot. The other is Ever Road, and the other one is the west, which is west.
West
That's
Hill,
overhead.
yes.
So on that street, all the houses are sort of have this facing the side, facing the street, or they have also
They're more
their.
oriented, they're not often corner lots. The ones that were having, are you asking about the ones on Westover Hill? that-
Yes, exactly. I do have some houses that have the front door, they're facing that street.
Yeah, so
They do.
on the four
That-
corners, on the
Yeah.
corner, all the houses on that city block are all oriented to Westover Hill.
Okay, so there's
All
some
access,
main entrances on that.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
all
a bit.
four corners
Yeah.
and the driveways are all oriented that way,
Mhm.
with the side yard, reversing the
Yeah,
situation.
so it is actually sorry, again, I forgot the name again, but that street is actually a residential main street, the residential street.
It's
Okay.
maintaining the exact same.
It's not like a
It's
lane.
not making a change.
Okay, thank you. That's what I just want to understand the strip street, but when you orientate the house this way, whether you fit into the context.
Yeah, all other three lots in the corner are all oriented that way.
Okay, yeah. So, and the question.
So my first question is to understand everyone's relationship to this application. So we've been hearing primarily from the planner.
Yes,
This gentleman over here is one of the principals of the applicant.
yes.
Are you the other principal of the
He is
applicant?
the architect.
No, the architect.
You're the architect.
He's just here to clarify some technical questions that might have come up during.
Okay, so we have planner, architect, and we have applicant.
Yes.
And who's your other partner, sir?
His name?
He's
not here.
There's another partner.
Yes, there is another partner.
Yes. And sure.
If you want
Yeah.
his name, Emilio Cosentino.
And does he live in proximity to this property as well?
No, he does not.
Okay. I'm not sure. I might have some other questions. I'm just going to think on it. I'm
Oh,
not sure if any
you
of the
can,
other members.
maybe other people have questions. Yes, please, yeah.
So no lot study has been done. I'm looking back at the minutes from January and would like to know about frontages and lot areas.
So to clarify, a lot study was done in the original planning opinion letter I did, which highlighted so the FSI study actually does two things. It shows lot areas, which is the primary concern. So frontages are being met here. These are larger lots. These are both, I think it's a 36-foot, 36-meter lot depth. So when you flip it, the minimum frontages for each ones are being done. So the issue.
36-meter depth, sorry, just slow down. 36-meter depth, you're saying?
Yeah, so you're gonna split the difference there,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have 16, 17, 18, 17 meter frontages.
20 meters, yeah.
Yeah. So frontage was not an issue that was brought up last time, it was about the FSI. So I really focused on the FSI analysis, and in my previous planning opinion letter, I demonstrated the irregular lots that were in corners. I also demonstrated square-shaped lots. So this was already previously done, and I did not resubmit any additional information because that wasn't an issue that was brought up at the previous hearing.
Okay,
But thank you for your question.
thank you. Yes,
I've got my other questions at the ready.
that's fine.
My concerns are not so much with the severance and the plan as a whole. It does make sense to me that corner lots in this neighborhood are going to be redeveloped. And in fact, I think that's something recognized both by the applicant and by the others that have appeared here. And we've seen lots of other applications in this area. It's near to what will eventually be an interchange station if Metrolinx ever gets their act together. My concern is more about the variances, if this is severed, and the impact to the neighboring property. It does look as though there have been improvements since the previous application. You spoke to the clerestory windows, and I believe also to making some of the windows potentially opaque.
So they are frosted on the drawings, and you can tie it to plans.
Yeah, and so maybe this is, okay, that was going to be my question, is there an elevation or a plan that we could tie it to that would help us maintain those conditions that reduce the impact on the neighborhood?
To clarify, the rear elevations of both architectural drawing sets do show the windows being clear story as well as opaque.
Yeah,
Yeah, A10.
A10.
So we are comfortable if you want to tie plans to the elevations to ensure those windows are built as they are proposed.
An owner
And could I maybe hear from the architect just overall how you've designed these buildings to reduce impact on the neighbor to the east? Is there anything else that you've done in consideration of that impact?
Yes, first and foremost, I mean, from the previous, if you recall the previous application.
I wasn't a member of
Well,
that
I can tell you that
unfortunately.
I believe there was a height variance at that.
So we did previously go with
Yeah.
a flat roof and no height variances.
So the first thing I did, we went from a 3-story to a 2.5, and obviously with the pitched roof rather than a flat roof. And as we said earlier, that will allow a lot more light into the adjoining property. I did try and keep the actual perimeter as tight as I could, and I think the fact that we reduced that side pod where the garage is, that also helped with the impact on the adjoining property. And the point that I would like to make is that, in fact, the new house at 15A is actually further away from 152 than the existing house is, by probably about 3 feet, roughly.
That's 212.
212, okay. You also brought up earlier about the apple tree. There is no reason why we can't preserve that and protect it during construction. It's done quite easily by putting 2x4s right around the trunk of the tree and putting mulch down on the ground and plywood sheets on top of that, so that any traffic that goes over it is going to protect the roots. Yeah. And obviously, we would make sure that the branches are protected as well.
Okay, and I understand things can change, you can never guarantee this, but are you the architect that's retained for construction phase services as well?
Yes, I will be doing site review, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. And through the building permit process, they have to satisfy urban forestry for tree protections and anyway, strategies. Okay, any other questions?
I just have to make one point before, for the record. I'm not a licensed architect. I'm a licensed, I'm a technologist, architectural technologist.
Okay, sure.
I don't want to be shot by the OAA.
I appreciate that, but you
the designer,
have the registry to do a Part 9 building?
Oh, yeah.
You're the
I
designer.
appreciate that, thank
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, now we are in committee. Okay, I just, I think that I was in the previous hearing, and then it did, they did make a big effort in terms of reducing the number of variances. And in particularly, I think the impact that by changing it to a pitch roof is greatly improved, I think. That's my record, my memory of the previous application. And I leave it to other people to make comments. Yeah.
Sure. I'll make some comments here. I was at the previous hearing as well, and I don't specifically remember the details of that design, but I do recognize that these two houses, I think, are a better design. As you said, the pitched roof, and then the smaller portion that is pulled away from 152. I think still the main impact is going to be on 152. And I think the question for us is whether this is appropriate or not. The applicant and his team have put together, I think, a pretty convincing argument to show the alternatives to this being a multiplex or a monster house or whatever, basically something as of right that would have probably, as of right or nearly as of right, that would probably have a worse impact on 152 than what's being proposed. I do think that the lotting, as it's proposed, is a bit unconventional for the area. I do get the point that there are many different shapes of lots in the area, but I do think that that's a positive thing. I think that there needs to be, in stable old neighborhoods like this, there need to be small changes with time, if that built form is sensitive enough, right? And I think that this built form is, in the sense that it still will have certainly an impact on 152, but I don't think that the impact would be much greater than the other things. A garden suite plus a big multiplex, you know, which I think would actually have a worse impact on 152.
Yes, as of right, they can build a fourplex, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
What-
So I actually think that this is a pretty sensitive
Yeah.
and well thought out solution.
And what I see, that's why I keep asking about the strip street, like you turn the corner, okay, this, a lot of house facing Alva, we know. But then when you turn the other way, then it seems that you're looking at the side of some houses, maybe they have fence and all. I think this actually is to say, small changes, maybe just change the streetscape a little bit, but it's not out of context. It's still, there's a 2.5 story houses. It's not, yeah. If you build like a row or attached townhouses, maybe that even more different from what it is now in the neighborhood.
I think, oh, go ahead, Gary.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, I'm concerned. I think that there is impact, and it's a big increase in floor space index. So personally, I can't support it. Just letting you know.
Okay.
My thoughts on the application are, in terms of maybe official plan objectives, a multiplex actually would be more preferred for this site than what's being proposed. But, you know, the applicant is the one who owns the site and puts something forward. I think increasing density in this location is in keeping with those objectives, and this does that. And, you know, people have different preferences and financial means across the city, and so this does provide a new ground-related house in a more dense form. So I think that that's positive. I do appreciate that the design has been managed in a way that reduces the impact on 152. I do feel a fair bit for the owner of 152 because there will be an impact, and I think her presentation slides did a good job. I don't think they exaggerated what it'll look like from her backyard. And this is why I have sympathy also for the apple tree, because I think that's one of the things that will mitigate the impact. But we're not, a minor variance isn't a no impact variance. It's a variance whose impact is not so severe as to require the application to go through a rezoning. And I think that's what we have here. So I actually do think the application is supportable with the condition that we tie it to plans.
And the elevations.
Elevations, yeah. Part of what I found a bit frustrating today was that the applicant took extra time. Normally, the applicant only gets 5 minutes and 5 minutes in rebuttal, but by availing himself of the fact that he's also a neighbor, he essentially took 15 minutes, which I could see it as being I thought was just not necessarily appropriate. But on the whole, we had questions and they were answered. And I think we did hear all of the issues that 152 had to raise. I don't think that there was an unfairness of us not hearing all of those issues. So, but I just wanted to raise that was my process concern, but I think it's addressed because we heard all of 152's issues.
Yes, exactly. So I did feel the same thing. That's why I just want to go back to it's a fairness. It's not about being rigid about who to answer the questions and all. Okay, so it seems that we have a motion.
Through the chair.
Fair.
With respect to the condition of tying to elevations, I would note for members that the engineering report with the engineering conditions, they have originally requested that this application not be scheduled, basically be deferred until the applicant resolve a number of matters, one of which is revised plans and the first floor elevations. So if you were to approve with all of these pages of engineering conditions, which there
Yes.
are many, the plans would have to be revised. So I just caution to tying to elevations when
Yes.
ECS or engineering is looking for revisions.
All the elevations, not just the rear elevations, right?
So if staff could pull up actually the engineering conditions, so we can have that on the screen. One of the conditions related to revised plans, they cite the first floor elevations. So it looks like it's just the first floor elevations, but they're looking for driveway slopes to be revised. And then the rest of the conditions relate to revised hydraulic analysis with respect to the water mains, and then the consent agreement.
Yes, all the extent.
Yeah, required
engineering.
approvals from Ministry of the Environment, Conservation of Parks, et cetera.
Okay.
Sorry, where is the one that, the proposed condition that refers to?
Number one, staff, if you can zoom in on it on
Oh,
the
I see.
screen.
Revised plans.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that refers to plans, not to elevations, so I think we should be fine to
The
tie it to elevations.
So three, they state the first floor elevations
I
through the
think
chair.
that's grade they're talking about, isn't it?
It's the grade.
It's the grade, it's not the picture of the elevation. It's the grade.
Yeah, it's representing the finished grade in relations to the building.
Through the chair,
Yeah,
I just
Oh, we can
flag
just-
for
yeah,
members
exactly. We
that may be changing.
Yeah.
So maybe,
We just impose these conditions, they have to satisfy the engineering, right?
Absolutely.
I don't see any of those referring to elevations.
It mean elevations of the grade,
If you
not
put,
elevation of the.
sorry, if staff can just
if you
scroll up to the top. Sorry, sir, if you
Yeah,
can
sorry.
just wait a minute, please.
I was going to say.
I just want to see which conditions, sorry, staff, if you can just scroll to the top, Kingsley, of that notice, and the date of this. I'm just going to compare those conditions. Just one moment. And Kingsley, that's not from the deferred package, that's the most current from engineering? Yes?
Oh, you're right, that's from the
Yeah.
deferred package, that's the
Yes.
issue.
Yes, so
And I was also looking at the deferred package.
that's okay. So staff have on the screen the most current conditions from engineering. Under number one, sorry, Kingsley, if you can go to, nope, scroll up, please. Condition, is that still the old one?
It's on page 3.
Page 3?
It's difficult to read it. Maybe you could read it out. And we'll get it. It's difficult to see on the screen.
Okay, there. So through the chair, Kingsley, if you can zoom in, please.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the bullet point 3, so section 3, the first floor elevations.
I see.
It says to show, not, I don't think that tying it to the elevations we have would.
Yeah, it's a
be-
different thing.
Would
This,
be a problem compared to this.
let me, this elevation is to do with the grading, the first floor grading around the building.
Madam Chair, can I suggest that we
Yeah.
to call it facade? That would make the difference between grade.
Yeah, no, this is the wording. We are not going to change the letter or anything. We just
No,
will
I'm talking
include.
about the condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, so through the chair, I mean, it's up to members. I'm just flagging that this
Yeah.
was the ECS conditions, and I just want to make sure that it's
Yeah.
on record what
Exactly. We will
engineering is
include
asking
all
for,
this.
because there's a lot of conditions
Yes,
here.
we-
So I just rather, out of caution, make sure that everyone's on the same
Include it,
page
yeah.
with the condition, that's all.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the secretary treasurer raising this. I think in the past, this hasn't been an issue so long as we use the wording substantially in accordance, and then the departments are able to sort of understand what we're getting at with our tying to the elevations versus the changes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so it seems that, I'm sorry, we're in committee now. I'm sorry. No, I'm so sorry, because we cannot come out from this committee. So, Philip, Mr. Goss, it seems that, are you in the process of making a motion? Or you just...
I was just really giving my opinion.
Okay, all right, no, it's fine, I thought that that's why we go through the conditions.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to, I'll propose the motion. I'll propose that we approve, do we need 3 separate motions, or do one motion?
Through the chair, one motion is fine, but just state what condition is applying for which. Urban forestry, for example, has different conditions, depending on the part.
Yes.
So I would move to approve to grant the consent and to approve the minor variance applications for the first part. It looks as though we have urban forestry condition 1. And for the second, we have urban forestry conditions 2 and 3.
Yeah.
For both applications, for the consent, we would include the engineering conditions.
Mm-hmm.
For both minor variance applications, I would also include the condition that they be constructed substantially in accordance with the east elevations.
Okay, is to join A10. A10, yeah. Okay. Do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second that, Chair.
Mr. Reed, second, and all in favor with all those conditions? You have 3-1, and Mr. McKay dissents, yeah. Dissent. Thank you, it's approved, 3-1. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Committee.
Yeah. Okay, now is item number 19, is 30 St. Clair Avenue West. The purpose for this application is to re-describe the land as a result of the conveyance of the rear portion of the lot for parkland dedication. And we have minutes of the June 4th public hearing, and a copy of survey, site plan, floor plan, elevations, 4 photographs of the property, and cover letter and corresponding from the agent, site-specific bylaw, and also parkland transfer affecting the subject property, and parcel register affecting the property, and also section 37 agreement affecting the subject property. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
All right, so we're ready for the agent yet.
Joanna,
Through you, Madam Chair, item number 20 for 40 St. Clair Avenue West seems similar or associated. You can ask the agent if they would like to hear it together.
It seemed to be the same development, right? Okay.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So I think it's because it is a joint sort of related application. So, give us your name and address to start with, please. Yeah.
Yes, of course. My name is Joanna Shapira, Shapira, and I'm with the law firm Woodbull at 65 Queen Street West in Toronto. And I'm here on behalf of the 2 landowners for 30 St. Clair West Avenue and 40 St. Clair West Avenue. It's number 19 and number 20 respectively on the schedule. And the issue is precisely exactly the same for each of them. The amendment or the variance is the same for each. It's a variance to each of the site-specific zoning bylaws that apply to these properties to amend the language, and you can see it there. It's underneath section 2 sub 4 bylaw 22601. The language as is currently in the site-specific zoning bylaw says that the lot upon which the office building, both of them have office buildings, by the way, the lot upon which the office building is located comprises at least the lands hereinafter described, and then that's followed by a legal description. And the issue here is that as part of the redevelopment of the property at the corner of Young and Delisle, there's a 44-story mixed-use residential tower getting constructed there now. The owner of that property is related to these two owners of 30 and 40 St. Clair West. But as part of the development for that property, the owners conveyed the rear portion of 30 St. Clair West and 40 St. Clair West to the city for parkland.
I'm sorry to interrupt, sorry. Are you making a presentation now, or we should start the clock? Yeah. Well,
Oh, I'm sorry, I just started right into it.
Because I just like to, have some time. Okay, thank you. Yeah, go on.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I just launched right into it. But so the purpose of it is because the rear of both 30 and 40 have now been conveyed to the city for parkland, there's a sort of a technical issue here because the legal description of the lands is no longer correct. And so if you pull up the actual notice, the language that's being proposed is to say, it's the last line there, in this case, the lot will not comprise of at least the lands hereinafter described.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's clear. I can certainly show you on the map.
Actually, clear. Actually, it's very clear also in your cover letter that why you are here. And I think it's just to say close the file now. The actual conveyance is done, and
Yes.
the description has been changed, and you just want whether I have a more accurate description, right? That's the case.
That's exactly right, and it doesn't give rise to any other
Yeah.
zoning.
So maybe we do not really need a more presentation, but we do have some questions for you. Yes, please.
Sure.
Mr. McKay.
I was just wondering why not put in a description of the retained lands? I would set out the legal description for what remains. You having severed off some to the city. Why not just plug in the legal description?
We had proposed that in my cover letter, and I'm happy to do either one. I think at the staff level, the suggestion was made to change the language to in this case, a lot will not comprise of at least, just to make it, I guess, less specific. But I mean, if it's the committee's preference, we have included the language to describe the new extent of the property as well. So I'm not opposed to either approach.
It's not a hill I'm going to die on, so I'm okay with the wording that's proposed.
Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. We do not have any more questions. I think that we can move to discussion now. We're in committee. Okay. Peter, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say, I had the same question as you, Gary. Like, it does seem kind of odd that you're approving something that is kind of a negative sentence, right? It doesn't comprise this, so what does it comprise? But if staff is fine with it, then I'm assuming that's fine. I mean, as Yim said, I think this is they're just trying to put this to rest. The conveyance has happened, and if staff is fine, I guess that's fine. But I did find it a very odd variance being requested.
Maybe it is a very technical term that they have to stick to some kind of technical.
It must be,
terminology. Yeah.
Okay, so for that reason, I'm happy to move approval of both of these. I think that it is a technical variance that's being requested, and it's just to complete the legal transfer of land to the city.
For both 19 and 20,
Yeah, for
right?
both 30 St. Clair and 40 St. Clair
Yes.
West.
So, Mr. McKay, you want to second that?
I'll second it, yes.
Yes. All in favor for both items? All in favor, unanimously approved. Thank you. So I guess we can just continue. We're not going to take a break, right? 21 is 386 and 394 Symington Avenue. This is to alter development standards as approved under the site-specific zoning bylaw, and by constructing a one-story commercial building which is facing Kingsley Avenue, will contain an eating establishment, a cafe with an outdoor patio. And we receive a minute of the September 3rd public hearing and a copy of the survey, site plan, floor plan elevation, and revised site plan, floor plan, and elevations, and cover letter, and also presentation material from the agent. And we received email corresponding from transportation engineering and staff report from community planning, and also from Metrolinx. We have received oppositions from 416, 418, and 420 Symington Avenue, and also 15 Kingsley Avenue. That's all. We are ready for the agent.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent here in person,
Yes.
and one speaker in opposition in person.
In person too.
Yes.
So you do have some opposition. So give us your name and address for the record. So you like to the staff to bring up the presentation material before we start the clock. Okay?
Yes, that'd be great. Thanks. There's the more recent presentation material, which was
No, your name and address first.
That's the
No,
one.
we won't
Graham
start the
Barrett,
clock until.
planner at Bousfields, 3 Church Street, Suite 200, agent for the owner of the subject property.
Okay.
And through you, Madam Chair, to the agent, I understand you submitted revised plans. If you could just speak to if there's any change to the purpose of application. I understand the variances may not have changed, but if you are adding a basement now below the 1-story, if you can just speak to that in your presentation, and if you feel it's prudent to add or amend the purpose of application to
Yeah.
reflect that change.
Maybe the staff can bring up the purpose so that we can review it, so there's no change. The purpose of the, so do we need to change anything on the purpose?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, it may be prudent to amend the description if you feel it's necessary to add a description of the basement, which is just for staff and storage use. That would be fine, but there will also be a small outdoor patio along the north side of the building now.
Oh, okay,
So that should be
So it will be,
edited.
can you actually read it out or just try to construct the sentence again? Yeah.
Let's see, to alter the development standards as approved under site-specific zoning bylaw 1156-2022 OLT by constructing a 1-story commercial building with basement. That would be Building B fronting
Okay.
Kingsley Avenue. That would stay the same, which will contain an eating establishment, cafe with an outdoor patio, and south side terrace and north side terrace.
And north side, so with one patio or two?
2, very small,
Okay,
small
one-
patios at the north and south side.
And
of the building.
another outdoor patio on the north too, yeah, okay.
I think it's also important to notice before, to mention before I get started, you mentioned opposition from several different addresses. Those are all one individual. So it's
Second
not
patio.
opposition from multiple properties.
Okay, on the north side, okay. So the staff get the change, okay,
Okay,
north
thanks
side. Let's get this done, and then now we bring up your presentation, and then we can start.
Great, happy to proceed. Okay, so this item was deferred on September 3rd to give staff time to review and determine if site plan control was necessary. The staff report that is now come in, it's on the AIC, notes that the requirement can be removed and that staff have no concern with the proposed variances. So in their opinion, quote, "The introduction of the proposed use in the given context and at the proposed scale is not disruptive to the fabric of the surrounding context." As you mentioned, a revised set of plans has been submitted, changes have been made, including the basement, and also for mainly aesthetic reasons, and also to add a green roof. So there are no changes to the proposed variances. There's a very small terrace at the front where there's a curved glass wall. We'll get to that. But I've been in touch with staff and indicated that there are no changes to the variances, and they have confirmed they still have no concerns after viewing the plans. We've also had the opportunity to meet with the adjacent neighbor, but we're unfortunately unable to come to a consensus. Next slide, please. I'm going to move through these pretty quickly, so bear with me. The subject site is in a mostly residential neighborhood comprised of 1- and 2-story dwellings, parks and schools, along with commercial and light industrial uses. Next slide, please. Site is currently being redeveloped with 8- and 23-story residential buildings. The overall site is outlined in black on this slide, and the area of the current proposal is shown in red. It's a little difficult to make out. Hopefully you can see it on your screens. Next slide, please. A 3-story dwelling was approved for this small corner of the lands as part of the ZBA for the overall development. A 1-story cafe is now proposed in its place. There are no other changes to the site. The subject site is in the RA zone, and an eating establishment is not a permitted use. Variance 1 is being requested to permit this use. Next slide, please. A small 110 square foot terrace with privacy screening is proposed along the rear of the proposed cafe, though it's not intended for customer use. It will be for staff access, storage, and so on. A small front terrace is also proposed. It's about 86 square feet. An outdoor patio is not permitted in the RA zone, and that is why variance 2 is being requested. Next slide, please. This shows the north and south elevations. The proposed building height is 4.6 meters. There'll be a green roof above, and curved glass facade will face Kingsley Avenue. Next slide, please. This is the east elevation. A blank wall condition will be provided adjacent to the dwelling next door, with the glass portion at the front being set back from the north property line to mitigate privacy concerns. Next slide, please. The glass facade will curve around the front portion of the building and face the private laneway, which provides access to the overall development. A barrier-free customer entrance will be located on this side of the building. Next slide, please. Cafe will be approximately 560 square feet in area with a universal washroom. As mentioned, a small basement level will be provided for employee use. And the front terrace is visible on the slide, just that area around the curved glass. Beyond that is property line and city property. The occupant load will be 10 persons. This small and accessible cafe has been envisioned as a place for local area residents rather than a destination that people will drive to. Variance 3 is required to permit 0 accessible parking spaces. The site has accessible parking underground for residents, but there is no suitable location to introduce another space. Staff have indicated that they have no concerns about the accessible parking variance. And next slide, please. Subject site is designated apartment neighborhoods in the official plan. Surrounding lands are generally designated neighborhoods and core employment areas. Next slide, please. Subject site is zoned residential apartment. The lands immediately to the east are zoned employment industrial, though they are occupied by residential uses, and an eating establishment would be permitted immediately next door. Next slide, please. Variance number 4 is being requested to expand the building length by 1.7 meters to the south, creating slightly more ground floor area for the cafe and lining it up with the adjacent dwelling. Modification to diagram 3 of bylaw 1156/2022, which permits the under construction residential development on the subject site, is required. Setback of 2 meters is proposed rather than the approved 3.7 meters. The current diagram 3 is shown on the left, the proposed is on the right. The only change is shown on the red line diagram, which is on the next slide, please. Thanks. Despite this reduced setback, the proposal will result in a building that is considerably smaller than that which is already approved. And next slide, please, the last slide. Okay, so the proposal satisfies the 4 tests set out in section 45 sub 1 of the Planning Act. It meets the intent of the OP, which in the neighborhood's designation permits small-scale retail and service uses that serve the community. The proposal meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, which regulates the use and performance standards to minimize impact on surrounding residential uses. Variances are minor in nature. Proposal is appropriate for the development and use of the land. I have one more paragraph, very short.
So the 5 seconds, okay.
I'll be very quick. The proposal is similar, albeit at a smaller scale than a 2017 minor variance approval for an eating establishment and patio surrounded by residential uses on Powerhouse Street, approximately 370 meters to the east. It's also very much in line with the spirit of the Neighborhood Retail and Services Study, part of the EHON initiative, that will create new employment opportunities. In my opinion, this is a low-scale and positive change to the neighborhood, and thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair to the agent, if staff could just bring up the public hearing notice on the screen. You do have a variance, I know you submitted on a waiver, and you do have a variance related to outdoor patio terrace. And now you've amended the purpose to include a second patio. So technically, would that not be increasing the variance of number 3? Or of number
Variance
2?
The way I read variance number 2, it doesn't specify whether it's in the front or the back. It's a blanket statement that an outdoor patio is permitted.
Right, but it's, through the chair, it's an outdoor patio, singular, not plural. So through the chair, I wouldn't recommend amending the purpose to include reference to the second patio. Otherwise, in my opinion, this may need new notice. This was submitted on a waiver, so if you are comfortable just proceeding with your plans and the variance as is, and then working that through in the building permit stage, but I would caution that it could be an issue at the time of building permit, that could be another variance arising. So the purpose could be amended to include the basement reference.
And then just,
But I'm not sure you would want to include, or should be including, reference to the second patio.
also the purpose clause is also quite specific about it being on the south side, the terrace. So the patio, so.
Right, but the agent could technically keep the patio on the south side if they want, and maybe decide to not proceed with the north side patio. Because my worry about notice is that technically somebody has no knowledge of the second patio, and they maybe would object to the second patio had they had seen the notice, the variance for
It's
2
true.
patios versus 1.
I understand too, that what we normally accept is that you make the application less honest, then make it increase what you want without notice. That's not what we is allowed to do. Yeah, you're increasing the number of patios here. Yeah.
Suppose you make a valid point.
Yeah. So maybe we just to say at the basement, which is, I guess, is also, that's actually increased the development too.
Through the chair, but there's no variance related to the basement, but there would be to the second patio. So through the chair, the agent's options are, you could technically defer if you really wanted to add the variance for the second patio and to amend the purpose to add the second patio, or you just proceed as is with the variance for 1 patio as it is written and not amend the purpose to include reference to the second patio.
Yes.
May I have a moment? Our client's here. It's a
I
quick
have
question.
another thought. Perhaps the purpose should just be amended to remove Southside Terrace, just say an outdoor patio.
Nope, I'd be amenable to that.
So through the chair, so the notice went out, the variance was just for 1 patio, and it actually didn't specify in the variance the location.
In the variance itself, it doesn't specify, it just says, in this zoning, there can't be and there shall be.
Right.
Okay, so through the chair, you could amend the purpose to just remove reference to south side. It would still only be permitting 1 patio, however.
Well, potentially, depending on
Yeah.
how a building examiner looks at it.
The upside is, I'm not trying to say that we try to cut corners or anything. I'm not. I'm just saying that seeing that maybe it's less complication because there actually no one has come to speak to the patio, right? Or there was a speaker for this.
There was a letter that specifically spoke, I thought, to there being a patio.
Yes, and through you, Madam Chair, that's why we decided to make the rear patio not for customer use, to address the concerns of the neighbor as best as possible. It's more of an entry than a patio, but it's considered, it was originally put forward as.
Oh, so it's
as
not
rear patio.
used as patio, it's like entrance space, you're talking about?
Yeah,
this?
entrance storage.
So it's not a patio, so we should just keep the purpose as it is, except adding the basement.
And eliminate Southside Terrace.
Yeah, not eliminating, just leave it as it is. Don't
Well, it's the south side one that is not going to be used as a patio. So that's,
Oh, it's the south side. Okay, now it gets very complicated. I'm not too sure.
So through the chair to the agent, it's up to you how you want to proceed. We provided those three options for you.
We have 30 seconds.
Yes.
That's a quick question. Thank you.
This is ROBINA, right? This is SYMINGTON, this is SYMINGTON.
Okay, appreciate your patience. It's a technicality. We would be happy to either remove the reference to Southside Terrace, or if it makes the committee happy, we can change it to Northside Terrace, because a small north side patio is actually desired for customers, whereas at the rear it won't be used for customers. So
Oh, okay.
I'm in your hands as to what makes most sense from your perspective.
So keep it as it is, except changing the south to north. If the, yeah.
I don't think changing it is okay, in my opinion.
No.
I think that's materially changing.
Yeah.
But I think removing Southside Terrace is fine with me, personally.
Just leave it as it is.
I tend to agree to change it, and it makes it look like a different application, whereas to remove it, then we're just making the purpose more consistent with the more general variance that already.
Variance
went
number
in.
2, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems that we do, okay. So just removing it. Yeah.
Okay, through the chair, so for the record, the purpose is being amended to remove the brackets Southside Terrace and add reference to the basement.
Yes, okay.
And the variance stays the same. Variance
Yes.
number 2 stays the same.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
So we're happy with that now. We can, we have our speakers, right? We have another speaker, so we'll bring you back when, see.
Okay, thank you very
after
much.
the- yeah.
Hi there.
Hi,
Hi.
welcome, yes.
Okay, my name?
Yeah, your name
My name's
and
Derek
address.
Rasbach.
Yeah.
I'm
And your
the owner
address?
of
Yeah.
416, 418, 420 Symington, and
Uh-huh.
15 Kingsley, which is right beside the proposed
Mhm.
variance. Longtime resident.
Mhm.
My dad before me.
Mhm.
Before, there was a house there. It demolished in 1970.
Okay.
I've been there that long.
Mhm.
Made into parking for a factory that was there, and I was a member of, I was a party to the LPAT.
Mm.
I split from the neighborhood group specifically for this property
Mm.
because it was right beside me, and it was, I was concerned on what was going to go there.
Mm.
And in the end, it was a 3-story building, and I was fine with that.
Mhm.
And that stayed the same from 2018 until 3 months ago, that they want to change it to a commercial use.
Mm.
And I wasn't okay with that. I would rather, too much activity right beside me,
Mm.
I wasn't believing in it.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, and basically, that's what it boils down to. Nothing more than that. I've got nothing against the people. I've
Mhm.
dealt with the construction for 2.5 years,
Mhm.
and this gets sprung on me. They added 8 stories to this building already, I believe,
Mhm.
on another variance. This wasn't brought up at that time. I don't know why.
Mhm.
It wasn't included.
Mhm.
This was sprung on me in the end.
Mhm. So you're against turning it into a restaurant, eating as well?
A
as
commercial
well as
property, yes.
I see, okay. Mhm. Mm. So you're right, you live right next to it?
I live at 418 Symington. There are
418, okay.
4 properties around the corner, 2 abut this property.
Mhm.
Mostly on the side of Kingsley Avenue, the back, they share maybe 6 feet.
Mhm.
And then the whole width of the property abuts against 416 Symington Avenue.
Okay, let me yeah.
And originally, that's why I was against the south patio, because it would practically be right in my backyard. It was 2.2 meters away.
Oh, I see.
And I just know, like from cafes, people either come with their dogs or they want a break from the office, and they talk loud if they're outside. If they're having a phone call, if they're going through the computer like a laptop, it's just plain noisy.
And there's, so sorry, there's no separation from your property to this development?
No.
There's no laneway, nothing?
No, it's right against it. And I might add, there's a deck on the back of 15 Kingsley. There's also a window right beside, like literally at the end of the property.
So your preference would that the terrace in the rear not be for public use?
My preference would be no commercial.
No commercial.
But leave the house.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions, any more questions to this speaker?
No.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, I think that's all the speakers. So, yeah, you have 5 minutes to address his concern then. Yeah. And maybe you can propose certain mitigation or try to see.
First, if you go to the presentation materials that I submitted, there are several pages of site photos at the end. If we can go to the first one. There we go. Thank you very much. So we appreciate the chance to meet with the neighbor and have a chat about this, and I do sympathize with his concerns. But overall, we're of the opinion that the proposed small cafe will be a benefit to the community, to residents of this new development, and to the neighborhood as a whole. At least one other neighbor agrees and wrote in to support the proposal unsolicited. I could go through some of the points that were raised in his letter that was submitted, but I will stick to points that were raised today. Living downtown Toronto in a busy area, people talking on the street is a fact of life. I'm not really sure how to speak to that. Noise was raised as an issue, but this is a very small scale cafe with capacity for 10 people. This type of use is not inherently loud, nor is it expected to be a destination that people drive to. A few other points in the letter that I would not want to speak to. If you look at the image on the right, on the presentation materials there, you'll note that there are no windows facing the proposed location of the cafe. There is a small deck at the rear on the second floor, which is approximately where the rear non-patio is proposed. And now that we've changed the use from potential seating for customers to just employee access and storage, I think that concern is well mitigated. I do find it interesting, and I mentioned this briefly in my presentation, that Mr. Rasbach's properties, and all dwellings actually south to 406 Symington, are zoned employment industrial. And I did a bit of an exercise, and an eating establishment would be a permitted use with conditions on all of these lots. And based on that preliminary review, he could theoretically open an establishment that meets all conditions at 15 Kingsley, in that white house on the right, without any variances required whatsoever. And the same is true of any property around the corner down Symington to a certain degree. So I do find that quite interesting. And I also mentioned this briefly. The proposal is very similar, but much, much smaller than non-residential uses in the Foundry and Powerhouse area. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's on the west side of Lansdowne, almost due east of the subject site. And that contains a Balzac's coffee shop with outdoor seating and a separate restaurant. And this is surrounded by residential office uses, a park. And this space can be rented, and according to their website, it can accommodate up to 100 people for a standing cocktail reception. And there's also a patio, so 100 people includes the patio. And this was approved with no conditions by the Committee of Adjustment on September 7th, 2017. In a similar way, this was a variance to a site-specific bylaw at the time. So the variances were required to permit a non-residential use restaurant and non-residential accessory patio in the R4 zone. It's a hole in the zoning bylaw, so it was a variance only to the site-specific. So it's a very similar situation, but much larger. And I just think that a small cafe on this site, low scale, not disruptive, would be quite beneficial to area residents, and hopefully not pose a problem to Mr. Rasbach.
Do you know the operation hours of this cafe, or you will impose?
This hasn't been determined yet. A tenant hasn't been determined yet. We're far from that stage.
I mean, a lot of cafes will just open maybe for till the late afternoon, and then they will not be open for dinner time. Right.
I mean, I would assume a cafe use would be open early enough for people to get a coffee, and I mean, most of them don't go into the evening, but I can't speak for what would actually happen on the site.
Okay. Yeah, well, but since there's some kind of concern with labor, I sort of directing some discussion into whether we have to impose certain limits on the operation hours or something like that. You know. It's just the patio I'm thinking about, but we just wait. So that's your rebuttal. Anything you want to add? Okay. You're done? Okay.
If you're asking me, I have one other thing that I do find interesting, and it doesn't quite apply here, but I mean, the city's considering changes to its zoning bylaw to, among other things, allow a retail store with an ancillary eating establishment in neighborhood interiors. So this is to support more walkable, vibrant neighborhoods. This would apply in the residential zone category. Interestingly enough, not the RA zone, which I feel is an oversight, but that's beside the point. And this is going to the Planning and Housing Committee tomorrow. So each individual business would be limited to 110 square meters or 1,200 square feet approximately. And they'd have the option of having 49% of the floor area, which is about 580 square feet, be occupied by an eating establishment. So we're proposing 558 square meters. And outdoor patios would also be permitted as of right, or not be permitted as of right, I'm sorry, but a small amount of space for outdoor sales and display of goods would be permitted. And that's 10 square meters or approximately 108 square feet. This is very, very close numerically to what we're proposing. And the staff report, which I've already mentioned, says this would allow for our establishment to serve as a small, low-impact neighborhood cafe which serves beverages and food items. I'm sorry, this is from EHON. This would allow establishments to serve as a small, low-impact neighborhood cafe which serves beverages and food items prepared off-site. The floor area limit will effectively moderate the number of customers. So while this doesn't exactly apply to what we're proposing today, it's such a similar situation, and I'll be watching it closely tomorrow at Planning and Housing Committee. And again, this isn't enforced, but it does demonstrate that the city is very interested in moving in this direction, and the proposed cafe would certainly support a more walkable and vibrant neighborhood with little to no impact on adjacent properties.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
So any questions? No? No more questions. We are in committee now. Okay. Yeah, please.
I find this eminently supportable, and I'm just going to come out and say that maybe it's my caffeine addiction, but I can't see living next to a 10-person limit, capacity, coffee shop not being beneficial. Now, of course, everyone has personal preferences. That's not to say that I don't accept the submissions of the gentleman that was here, that he would really rather this not be the case. I'm sure that that's true, but from a planning perspective, if we hadn't heard those objections, I think we would have just waved this one through. Even if we consider what we just heard about this being the direction the city is going in for neighborhood interiors, this isn't even really what I would consider a neighborhood interior. I would consider it a transition zone from the major street that's right adjacent to it. I just don't see there being a large impact. I think most people that come before the committee would find this single-story coffee shop less impacting than the three-story multiplex that had been otherwise proposed, which goes to the individual preference side. From a planning perspective, I think either of those fit.
Okay. Yeah, Pete,
Yeah, I would just add, I agree. I think that this is a desirable use, especially given the very, very large-scale development that is just happening, right? I think that that site plus the immediate area would be the catchment for this. And I agree that I don't think this would be generating vehicle trips. But I'm kind of concerned about the rear of it, the rear portion of the site being used as a public terrace. So I think I would feel more comfortable if we inserted some language that the rear portion be not used for public, a public terrace.
Patio, yeah.
Yeah, public patio.
Patio, yeah.
Because I think that the impacts
That's
of
what
that.
they said anyway, yeah.
I think the impacts of that are, yeah, that's what they're proposing, but I think having that tied in, I think.
I think so.
Would be important, and I think go more to the use of having the active frontage being on the public roadway.
Yeah, okay. I agree. I think that will make it more supportable. Okay, Mr. McKay, any comment or?
No, the discussion's been good.
Yeah, so do we have a motion?
Sure, yeah, I'm happy to move it, and I see the concern that Member Reid mentioned, so I'm happy to include that condition as well. So I'll move to approve this, subject to the condition that the rear terrace not be used as a public patio.
As amended, right?
As amended.
Yeah, as amended, the agenda, yeah, and the rear terrace not used as public patio. I have to find. Okay, I have a second, Mr. McKay, second, okay, and then with that condition and all in favor and amended agenda, all in favor is approved unanimously. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, we're on our last item is 247 Robina Avenue. This is to alter the existing one-story detached dwelling by constructing a front porch with stairs, and also with a front integral garage, one-story addition to the side, to the south side, and a rear wall, and a complete second-story addition, a third-story addition with a rear balcony and a rear basement walkout, and a rear ground floor deck with stairs. The existing driveway will be reconstructed. We receive a minute from the September 10th, 2029 hearing, and also a copy of survey, site plans, floor plans and elevations, and revised site plans, also a red line public notice, and cover letter from the agent, and also email corresponding from the agent. We receive staff report from Urban Forestry, and also 3 signature petition in support with owners 223, 250, and 252 Robina Avenue. We are ready for the agent, sir.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Oh, okay.
Raman Preet, you've been unmuted.
Good evening, committee members. This is Raman Preet from 247 Robina Avenue.
Yes, you have some revisions on your notice. Can we go through and confirm those revisions first before we start? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you're revising variance number 6, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And that's, we can see that that's the only revision you have, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's 60% and 10.59 square meter. All right, so, yeah.
Just to that point, Chair, does that I'm looking at the previous site plan and the revised site plan, and in terms of the front yard, they look the same to me. Am I missing something, or can you explain what's different, please?
We had a previous zoning notice. So in that zoning notice, we had a straight driveway, and the driveway did not have any soft landscaping around it. So we just copied that point in our zoning waiver notice. And then after submission to the committee, we confirmed with the zoning examiner by sending this revised plan with the patio stone on it. Through the calculation, that's how we came up with this number. So the actual numbers in point number 6, that submission was not done. So these are the numbers for this submission with the 60%.
You mean that the previous figures were not correct, and this
Yes.
one, and this one is more the correct one?
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So that's why the plans are not changed.
Okay,
Right?
understood, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. That's a very good point. Yeah, I will. All right. Do we need a presentation from him, or we just ask questions? Yeah, we should just, we go straight to their questions. We do not need a presentation from you.
Perfect.
Well, sure. I'll continue, I think, Chair. I think the main question is the forestry report, right?
Yes.
Like, they are requesting that variants 5 and 6 be denied. Can you speak to that, please?
There is a tree in the front. So there's an existing driveway around 4 feet away from the tree. We are planning to stay 4 feet away from the tree. The number 6 had a problem with very less landscaping. That might have triggered their suggestion of denial. But at this point, we are 60%, which is very close to the 75%. And the tree will be protected throughout the construction processes. And then we are happy to do an application where we show them how the tree will be protected with the supporting arborist report. And we don't want to even injure the tree. If worst comes to worst and there is a little injury as suggested by the arborist, we are happy to do an application to do it in a more light manner.
And what would that look like?
So as of now, we are not planning any injury because we want to stay 4 feet away from the tree with our driveway. So since this is a small tree with a smaller diameter, the 4 feet away driveway, if you see the site plan, that's how it is. We are not even injuring the tree. We won't even need to do the application.
Okay, but have you had any specific conversations with Urban Forestry, or you've just reviewed the report?
I have just reviewed the report. I haven't had a conversation with the forestry, but I have had conversation with the arborist who will be preparing the application for the tree protection plan.
Okay, thanks.
I'm a bit curious, actually, that's a good point. You said that the last calculation with the same site plan, the percentage and the current corrected percentage is a big difference. Why, how come it come about such a big difference? Even though it may be a mistake in calculation, but this is like almost, and now you're proposing almost double, more than double than last time. How?
Yes, so if, let me pull up the plans. So if you look at the site plan, on both sides of the driveway, we are curving it and we have the grass. Before, there was no grass around it. And you have to look at the property just before the property line, whatever is in the property. So both grass was not there. So we had only a small strip of grass after the walkway and on the north side of the porch. So that's why we were so little. So with this updated calculation, we are at 60%. So we have included a lot of softscaping, sod, grass area to achieve this in the north and the south side of the driveway. So the driveway is just 11 feet before the driveway went from porch all the way to the south side property line.
Oh, I see. So you reduce the size of the driveway. So
Yes.
another question is this the new driveway going to be constructed with permeable material? Does-
No, since we are very close to the variance which is required, we want to proceed with the regular materials instead of the permeable driveway.
Oh, okay. And also the walkway is concrete, right? It's not going to.
The walkway is patio stone, so not concrete. So that's not permeable, but the permeability is higher than of regular plain old concrete.
Oh, so but then in your proposed site plan here, it says that it's going to be removed, and then you seem that you put some grass there, right?
Yes, yeah. So existing walkway we are removing, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
that's another point. The whole walkway which was there before, we don't need it. So we are removing that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And the new patio stone walkway is just going into the driveway.
Yes.
I just want to, and you still a little bit of deficiency in terms of landscaping. Why would you not agree to put a permeable material for the new driveway, since it's a new construction, and isn't it will help to control some of the runoff, water runoff, if you have permeable material?
So mostly the runoff is going to come off from the roof, which will be on the north side of the driveway, and we have a patch of grass to do that. If I'm a civil engineer myself, so if the runoff is more than what we can get for the grass, we can always dig and make a soak-away pit and manage the water in that way. Yes, the permeable driveway helps, but it helps with only the rain that directly falls on it. If we manage the stormwater properly on the site, it won't be needed in terms of actual permeability and the stormwater management.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so we don't have any more questions now. We are in committee. Okay. I'm just surprised they say about the permeable material is not needed. I'm not too sure that I can agree to that. So, yeah. It's always a little bit of help, right? All right, so anyone wants to start?
Sure. It's a very small bungalow that exists there right now, and it's a very constrained site.
Yeah.
And so it's, because of those factors that I think maybe it's supportable despite the forestry concerns, because otherwise it's hard to imagine a construction or a site plan that wouldn't have similar issues on that property, unless I suppose there were to be no driveway whatsoever.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But there are lots of driveways in this area, so with the revised numbers, I don't find it too problematic. I do agree with you, Madam Chair, that permeability is always helpful, because even I think it was right in his answer that making the driveway permeable will only control the water that falls on the driveway. Well, that's still water that's going to go into the stormwater
Yeah.
system that otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah.
But given the percentages that we're looking at, I don't know that it's necessary to impose a condition that
For the-
they're not in favor of. I think the percentage as
Yeah.
amended is not so far off. Those are my thoughts.
Yes, that's right. I just want to mention it so that we sort of encourage more of
Yeah.
that, into that direction of increasing as much as you can, permeability of the site, right? So actually, it's true, Philip, I agree with you on one point. When I look at the photograph, the tree that they're mentioning, to me, it's more like a little bush.
Yeah, it's not a massive,
It
it's
doesn't
not a
have the-
massive tree.
Yeah, yeah.
I have, the next door neighbor has a massive tree.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, so.
Yeah, Phil, I think I agree with your take on this. And who knows, like maybe urban forestry through their process may end up requesting a permeable driveway.
Yes.
But yeah, I think with the improvements to this application, I think it's supportable too.
Okay. So, seems that, do we have a motion then? Yeah.
I can do that, sure. Unless, Gary, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I'm on side there.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think for the reasons we've discussed, I think the variances are minor. I'll move approval of the application, subject to urban forestry condition 1, and that's as amended with variance 6 being 60%.
Yes. And the second, we have a second. Okay, we have a second. All in favor of the condition on the amended agenda? All in favor, approved unanimously, yeah.
Sorry, and through the chair, that's Member Ghosh that seconded that application, just for the record, right? Or was
yes.
it Member McKay?
No, Mr. Goss.
Okay, can we
Second.
just have that stated? Thank you.
Yes, he seconds, yeah.
We just missed stating it, that's all.
Okay, so I think now is 4:52, and that our hearing adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you, Chair. That's right.
Thank you,
Good,
everyone.
good to know.
Please turn off your videos, mute, shut down, mute the room. Thanks, staff.
Okay.
After our morning was so quick and so here in the afternoon, I thought, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually thought we would be out of here by like 3:50.
Yeah, that's